Alrighty, so how did y'all do on that quiz? Alrighty, so we're gonna go into step-by-step guide, bankruptcy removal, or impact reduction. Let's talk about it. So understand bankruptcy reporting rules. Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years. Chapter 13 stays for 7 years on your credit report. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your credit reports. You want to get your credit reports and your court docs. So you want to visit annualcreditreport.com to get free credit reports from all three credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Okay, so dispute any inaccurate bankruptcy listings. So these are some of the listings that you want to look for when you are disputing your bankruptcy listing. Let's dive a little deep into this one right here. Okay, so now you have your court docs from your bankruptcy. Now, these are some of the areas you want to look for on your bankruptcy court documents. These are some of the areas you want to look at. You want to look at your court name, your court information, basically, your court name, case number, your filing date, and your discharge date. All right, and included accounts errors is your creditor information and your discharge status. So those are the three things you want to look for when you're filing, trying to get bankruptcy removed from your credit report. You want to look for errors. Now, if everything is accurate on here, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Hold on. So these are some of the things you want to look for. Court name, if that's correct. your case number, or the missing any digits. Your filing date, is that correct? Your discharge date, is that correct? Okay. So now your creditors, all your creditors, all this right here should have a zero balance and it should be included in bankruptcy. That's what it should state. Active, it should say included in bankruptcy with a zero balance. Okay. And your discharge status. Okay. Okay. So it says right here, you file yes. Your discharge says no. Uh, it should say yes. This is a discharge bankruptcy. So if it says no, that's an error. Okay. Also, your case dismissed. It should be saying dismiss. And, well, it should say discharge. Incorrectly showing as dismissed, but the case was discharged, so it should say discharge. Case dismissed. It should say, but the case was discharged, so it should say discharge. Okay, so these are some of the items you want to look for on your court docs that you get from the courts. Okay. All right, step 4. You want to contact the court because basically, in one of the questions, third party companies they screw up the courts because all your information is public documents. All your public, I mean, it's public records. Your bankruptcy, evictions, all that stuff is public records. So the only thing they got to do is screw up the internet, and if they see anything that's they can sell to the credit bureaus, specifically bankruptcy, car repos, evictions, and stuff like that, they will sell that to the credit bureaus. Those third-party companies will. LexisNexis, CoreLogic. Those are those are on third-party companies that will sell that information to the credit bureaus, and it's a bunch of them out there. So basically, what you want to do is get an official records to challenge the bureau verification. And basically, you can go down to the courthouse and go to the clerk of courts and say, "Hey, can I get something in writing stating that y'all did not report my information to the credit bureaus?" So you can go down to the courts and get a letter stating that they did not submit that information to the credit bureaus, your information. So you want to get that statement right there. So now you got your credit report. No, you got your court docs, you got your credit report, and now you have this letter right here. Now it's time to dispute. So you want to quest deletion of bankruptcy is unverifiable. So you want to look at your court docs. You want to look at your credit report to make sure everything adds up. Say hypothetically everything adds up, everything looks perfect. You still have the right to send a letter. You still have a right for them to verify. Let's dive a little deeper. So now this is your first letter you can send. This is the round 1 letter that you can send. Okay. So this information right here is basically asking them to validate that information. So this basically is just warming them up. Can you investigate to make sure that my public records account is reflecting accurate information? If not, could you please delete the accounts that are not reporting accurate according to the Metro compliance? So this is the letter right here you want to send off. Hey, I just want to make sure everything is good to go on y'all end. Even though you know if it's correct or incorrect, you still can send this letter right here. So next, they're going to send you another letter stating one of three things: items is actually corrected, items deleted, or items verified not corrected. So those three letters you're going to get back. Those what the bureau is going to tell you. Either items corrected, items verified, uh, not corrected, or items deleted. So now, so now you're going to send this information right here to the credit bureaus. Uh, Round one letter. Make sure you put some documentation in there: driver's license, uh, your verification information, driver's license, or a um, physical address information. We talked about that information in personal information. So you go back to the personal information and see what kind of docs you need to send along with this letter right here. So now you sent that off. Okay, so now we saw the items you need to look for on your bankruptcy statement. Now let's look at some of the items you want to look for your credit report to make sure that they are uh, accurate. So these are some of the items you want to look for bankruptcy or anything in your public records for bankruptcy. We already talked about incorrect personal information. That's the first thing you want to do before you even start disputing with any credit bureaus. You want to make sure this right here is corrected. We talked about that in the last chapter. Removing your personal information to make sure you have one name, one address, one social security number, one phone number, on one employer. So we already talked about that. That's the first thing you want to do before you even send this letter off right here. Before you even do that, you want to make sure your personal information is correct. Once you get that done, everything looks good. Where you got one of that, one of this, one of that, one of this. Now, these are some of the things you want to look for in your credit report to see if it's inaccurate. Discharge dates. Failing to show discharge date. Old debt still showing. Okay? So these are some of the things you want to look for in your credit report. And you want to match that with your court docs. So you want to look at your court docs, you want to look at your credit report to make sure everything is jiving. If it's not jiving and anything looks incorrect, you want to have them to verify it first. Send this letter off. Hey, I need for y'all to investigate to make sure that my public's account record is reflecting accurate information. You already asked them to verify. Like I said, they're going to come back with one or three letters. Items corrected, items deleted, item verified, not corrected. Okay, so next, let's move it on up. All right, incorrect balance information, fraudulent accounts, incorrect public records, court judgments or liens. Okay. Now, if the bureau can't verify this bankruptcy, it must be removed. Escalate with the CFPB if necessary. Okay. You want to ask for deletion. Okay. So now, if they can't verify, you want to ask for deletion. And you can go to ChatGPT, and here's your friend right here. You could just type in, I wasn't even logged in, and I typed in a template, a bankruptcy removal letter. Now you're going to go in detail to be specific. Uh, if hypothetically, say hypothetically they come back, you know something. If everything is right, they come back saying everything is verified. You don't have anything to stand on because everything is correct. It's going to be hard to remove anything that's correct. But you see something on there that's not correct, now you know for a fact that this stuff is not correct or verified. So now it's time for you to get to the nitty gritty. Here's a template for bankruptcy removal letter. You could just go to ChatGPT, type in that, and it's going to give you a template. You're going to put your name, your address, your city, all this stuff is self-explanatory. The date. Now, right here, your credit bureau name. Any credit bureau that's reporting that bankruptcy on there, that's the one you need to send it to. If TransUnion is not reporting it, don't send one to them. If Experian is not reported, don't send one to them. If Equifax is not reporting it, don't send one to them. Only send to the credit bureaus that's it's reflecting. And that's information you'll put on here. And if you go back to this last letter right here, here are all the addresses right here. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These are the addresses right here. Okay. So now you go in, request for bankruptcy removal for credit report. You put the credit bureau name, and basically you'll put on here what needs to be done, and you'll be specific this time. This first letter, you wasn't specific. You wasn't specific. Only thing you said was the public record section. You wasn't specific. Just asked them to investigate your public record section. They came back saying everything was verified, not corrected. And basically all that's going into e-Oscar, electronic Oscar machine. It's a computer generated that all these letters go to, and they're going to come back and give the what category you in. A 1, 2, 3, 4. They have different numbers for your case or for your complaint. Now, I'm not a lawyer, anything like that. That's my disclaimer. So, if you don't want to do it yourself, I expect for you to get with a bankruptcy lawyer or a tax, a credit agency that can help you remove this. You might have to pay some money for it, but if you want to do it yourself, these are the steps you can do it with. Okay, so now you'll be more specific. You'll go on here and put the filing date, your case number, your bankruptcy type. Okay. And you want to put anything that's incorrect, you want to put it in this. I have identified the following issues. You want to put it right here, 1, 2, or 3. All right, here's your relevant documents, your bankruptcy discharge notice, your court records will support my claim. All right, so these are the informations you want to send. All right, remember that letter, a copy of a court record order. You want to have that in there. Copy of the credit report. All right, with any discrepancy highlighted, and a copy of bankruptcy discharge notice. And you also may want to resend that letter stating that the courts did not send this information over to them, to the credit bureaus. You can include that letter also. All right. So these are the steps you want to take. Okay. So that was step 5. Let's get on to step 6. All right, you rebuild your credit after bankruptcies. Hypothetically, you know what? Hey, you either got to delete it, you got to correct it, and it's still on your credit, or it's also off on your credit. Now you want to go into that rebuilding credit phase. So you want to rebuild credit after bankruptcy. My recommendation, this is what I would do. If I was in bankruptcy, this is what I would do. Try to get a little points on my credit report. I would go to Experian Boost. This right here will help you build your credit. Instantly raise your credit score for free. It raises it between 5 to 20 points. Not a whole lot, but it's a starter to help you boost your credit. The only thing you got to do is just get an account with these people right here, with this company, Experian, and start boosting your credit. All right, so step 7. So we want to wait time for base removal. So chapter 7, 10 years. Chapter 13, 7 years. Bankruptcy must be removed automatically after this period. So if you look at your bank statement, I mean, not your bank statement, but your credit report, and you see your chapter 7 has been over 10 years, bankruptcy must be automatically after this period. Must be removed automatically after this period. If you have a chapter 13, it's been over 7 years. Bankruptcy must be removed automatically after this period. Step 8. All right. So basically, you want to be in good graces with the credit bureaus. Add a consumer statement, which is optional, and just let them know why you was in bankruptcy. It can help. Will it remove anything? Probably not, but it can help. And it's basically 50-50 at this chance. And that's if it's still reporting. You've done everything. You done sent the letter for them to verify. You done sent all the documentation. You done notified CFPB. You done notified all you basically exhausted all efforts. But if it's inaccurate, you shouldn't have to send this letter right here. But if it's accurate, it might still be on your credit report. But if it's stuff that's inaccurate on there, should be able to get it removed. All right. So let's go to step 9, which is our summary table. Okay. So we disputed the errors. We contacted the court. We rebuild our credit, and we wait for a removal period. And we also add a consumer report statement, which is optional. You have a good evening.